Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
First at 6, two bills moving through the Michigan legislature are attempting to tackle a very polarizing issue.
We are talking about transgender athletes participating in girls' sports. So a few hours ago, the Michigan House passes two bills to keep that from happening. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly Gill. It's an issue that garners a lot of conversation, but let's take a look at the impact. This school year, only 2 waivers have been approved by the Michigan High School Athletic Association for trans girls to compete in girls' sports, and that's out of more than 170,000 student athletes. Will Jones is live with us to share reactions to these bills and what comes next. Will.
Kimberly and Ty, Republicans will tell you that they're standing up for female student athletes. Democrats call these bills a distraction. They passed the Michigan House today, mostly along party lines. Only one Democrat supported one of those bills. Now they're headed to the other chamber where the Democrats have the majority.
There are, in fact, biological differences between men and women, and those differences matter, especially when it comes to the integrity of women's sports.
Michigan House Republicans and Democrats speaking out before the final reading of 2 bills regarding transgender girls participating in girls' sports.
We are demonizing children with these bills. We are punching down on the most vulnerable in our society, and for what?
House Bill 4066 requires school districts and public school academies to classify athletic teams by sex. Individuals identified as male based on biological factors cannot join teams for females. House Bill 4069 amends the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act to clarify who can participate in athletics at educational institutions. The bill states that K-12 schools can decide an individual's eligibility based on their biological sex as listed on their original birth certificate. The House approved both bills this afternoon.
The bill has passed.
Following the vote, House Democrats holding a press conference.
What we did today was dangerous. Having a bill pass out of this House that does erode civil rights.
The bills face an uphill battle in the Democrat-controlled Michigan Senate.
My hope is that, we brought some attention to this very important issue. We're showing our young women how much we care about them and that we're willing to stand up for them.
The ACLU of Michigan responding in a statement saying in part, banning trans kids from playing sports not only violates their civil rights to be treated equally to all other children, it is just plain wrong. All kids, regardless of their gender identity, deserve love, support, and encouragement. We will continue to follow both bills and we will let you know if they make it out of the Senate. We are live in Detroit. Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, well, thank you. Well, if you were driving near the Lodge in Davison in Detroit, you will see a billboard with a heartbreaking message.
It's a mother's plea to help find her son's killer. 23-year-old Chinye Lou Humphrey was found shot to death January 26th of 2021. Humphrey is the son of Highland Park activist Mama Shu.
Victor Williams joining us live with this story. And Victor, you spoke directly to Mama Shu.
Yeah, that's right, Ty. And this is actually not the first time that she's had a billboard placed up just like this. There was actually one up in 2022, and since then, not much has changed. This is what it says now, though. I saw who killed my son. I know where he is. I said something. He was never investigated. It's been 4 years. Help me.
And one thing about it is I'm going to fight for him dead or alive. It doesn't even matter.
More than likely you've heard of Mama Shu, the community activist who in 2024 was named USA Today's Woman of the Year and in 2023 placed in the top 10 for CNN's Hero of the Year award. Many know her as a problem solver with Avalon Village in Highland Park, but one problem that she can't solve is why the man who killed her son isn't being held accountable.
The same things that other citizens are going through, I'm going through that. They just may not be a CNN hero, or they may not be a USA Today Woman of the Year, whatever. But guess what? We all neighbors sitting up here and we have the same problem. There's so many mamas and so many fathers that I've talked to that just heartbroken because it feels like their loved ones are just left hanging, like don't nobody care.
Back in 2021, Mama Shu's son, Chinye Humphrey, was shot and killed in cold blood right in front of his home in Highland Park. And despite seeing the person herself and taking evidence to police, Mama Shu says nothing has ever happened.
I'm disappointed that it's 4 whole years of knowing who the killer is, but really no active investigation into him committing the crime, him killing Chin.
4 years later, and once again she's placing up another billboard hoping for justice, but to also let people know that the person who is responsible may be getting out of prison soon for a different offense.
Per public record, he's on his way out. I think the community needs to know that, you know, he's going to be unleashed.
One way or another, Mama Shu is doubling down on efforts to make sure her son's killer stays behind bars before it's too late.
Chinyelu is dead. I know that part right there. But I won't, and I got to live with that. But I'm not going to live with the killer being in my face and all the other faces here in the community.
Now, we have reached out to Highland Park Police for some answers about the investigation, but at this point in time, we have yet to hear anything back. Live in Highland Park, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Efforts and actions very commendable. Thank you, Victor. Little relief for drivers in Grosse Ile. The bridge is now back open, at least for now. So the first phase of maintenance repairs is complete and it's ahead of schedule. That's the good news. We're told the bridge will be open for the next 4 weeks, but then it will close back down for phase 2 of repairs. We've been covering this story since the bridge shut down at the beginning of the month, causing a headache for people living in Grosse Ile. We'll keep you posted as we learn more about the construction.
Hamtramck's city manager tells Local 4 the police chief and another officer are suspended pending an investigation. At the same time, troubling allegations emerge regarding Chief Jamil Al-Tahiri. We got our hands on a report alleging things like theft, domestic violence, and even a corruption scheme involving the president. Right now, no one here at City Hall is linking those allegations to this suspension. Neighbors in Hamtramck, though, tell us they want answers.
Yeah, we want to know what's going on. Why people getting kicked out.
We need answers. We definitely need some answers, right?
Hamtramck's mayor says the police chief believes it is retaliation for disciplining an officer. The mayor wants to hold an emergency meeting to address the situation. Hamtramck's city manager said the plan is to bring in an outside firm to investigate.
2 big court cases we're following tonight. The first one, we're learning more about the events leading up to that deadly explosion last year in Clinton Township. In court today, an employee details weird incidents leading up to the explosion, including strange behavior by the building's heating system that night. The building's owner, Nor Costow, also took the stand today. He's charged with involuntary manslaughter, a 15-year felony. Investigators blame the explosion on thousands of nitrous oxide canisters stored on site. One of these cans actually hit a 19-year-old man during the explosion and killed him. Costow's preliminary hearing is expected to pick back up next Wednesday, as a judge will decide if there's enough evidence to send that case to trial. A competency hearing is delayed for the woman accused in the double murder of a foster family in Northfield Township. Siobhan Vincent and 2 others now face charges for the murders of Jennifer Bernhardt and her father, Steve Smith, on New Year's Day. Jennifer's husband, Jeffrey, was also shot in the head, but somehow survived. They're also accused of kidnapping the family's 10-year-old daughter and their 4-year-old foster daughter, who just happens to be Vincent's biological daughter. The court is pushing back her competency hearing to June 26. Vincent is currently being held without bond. If convicted, she could face life in prison.
I've made the decision not to seek a retrial in the case of Christopher Sher.
That is Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker earlier today announcing that he will not retry former Grand Rapids police officer Christopher Sher in the shooting death of Patrick Leoya. Sher shot Leoya during a struggle after a traffic stop that happened back in 2022. Sher claims he acted in self-defense, but the prosecution argues that the shooting was not justified. Sher was charged with second-degree murder, but 2 weeks ago, the original trial ended with the jury unable to reach a decision.
Another day of gray skies, rain, and below-average temperatures.
Forewarned meteorologist Ron Hilliard in for Kim Adams tonight. Enough is enough, Ron.
Seriously.
Kimberly, Ty, there is a bit of a silver lining that we keep the cool weather, but we are going to finally get rid of the rain showers, at least for most of us. Here's a Zach Track 4D radar. We see that those showers are all across southeast Michigan. As we go a little bit closer, you'll see some of the communities that are being impacted right now as these showers are moving toward the south and the southeast. So Heartland, we're getting the showers. Green Oak Township, South Lyon, We are getting them. Going over toward Burton and Atlas, Oxford, Rochester Hills, Troy, showers are impacting us. And going over toward the east side, Roseville's getting clipped by a couple of showers. And you'll see that downtown Detroit, we're right in the middle of it. That is not the greatest news for people that are right now heading to Comerica Park and trying to fill the stands. Now, the rain showers are going to be winding down later on tonight, but we can still see them going into the nighttime hours. Right now, we are mostly in the lower to mid 50s. It is chilly out there, so that cool weather is sticking around. I'm going to talk about when we start to see some relief. That's all coming up in a few minutes.